So welcome to the HubFizz live show where you can get ideas to grow your eco-conscious business. For those of you who are tuning in either now or later, please do say hi and post your comments below the post. The show is only 10 minutes. If we get time to answer, we will get to the questions. Otherwise, we will respond straight away after the show. So I am joined today by Kristel Valaydon from KB Communications, and we are talking about new routes to better marketing. Kristel is a PR and marketing specialist with an interest in supporting business owners and SMEs with passion and purpose. So welcome, Kristel. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Excellent. Well, today we're talking about what things an eco-conscious business can and should do to build brand awareness, and how to develop connections with others to help make this happen. So be that eco-bloggers, vloggers, content creators, influencers, journalists, or just those in the know. So lots out there. So Kristel, where and how do we even make a start when it comes to this?
Yeah. That's such a good question, isn't it? Because that is the barrier that most people have when they think about their marketing. Where do I start? Think about two things. What is it that you want to achieve? So there's two ways that I look at marketing and PR. You're either at the stage where you're going to start, it's almost like a pebble effect. Start from the very beginning, drop those seeds in or drop that stone in and look at it as rings that you want to build outwards. Or if you are more established, it might be that you already have your marketing or your basic marketing in place and you need to get more people attracted to you. Now, of course, everybody wants to say, oh, we want to be seen and heard. But as you know, we have to join the dots in our marketing. So there's no point promoting your eco-conscious business if, say, for example, your call to action is the website and your website's not ready or it's got no way to capture those leads in or track it. So the way that I see it is that a lot of times clients will come to me and ask me, where do I start? And it could be that their social media following might be the best place to start, because actually what I'm finding working with, funny enough, an eco-conscious business at the moment, it changes. It's evolved so much since maybe a year ago or the year before that journalists would only really focus on eco-conscious brands maybe once a year, whereas now they've got more topics. You've just seen plastic free in July, for example, and there'll be something in September like World Earth Day. So they have more and more topics where you can target journalists, but still you don't want to be confined to that. So let's look at first, if you were to start in that inner core, your own social media and getting your following there. Now, there is a wealth that you could do here by following the right hashtags, the right communities, the right groups, and being active in that. And I think that's always the first point, is just stay very focused into your community. Maybe it might be local first before you start even thinking about national. So it's always just think of the first drop that you want to drop that stone into the water for that first ripple effect. And then you start thinking about communities nationwide. Now, the other thing is that there are more and more bloggers, eco-conscious bloggers out there, and particularly those trying to navigate their way through. It might be through health, it might be through beauty. There's so much that you can do and target them, and you can find them on social. If you have a bit more money, I think it's worth signing up to maybe, there are some influencer groups, so actually influence bloggers groups. So I think it's ethical influencers might be a good one. It was actually called, oh crikey, there was one that was a group, it's now called creativeimpact.com, .co. And I really noticed that it was really going from like food, from natural health foods. A lot of bloggers were there, but they're very much interested in sort of what's right for you, what's right for the environment. So there are certain communities out there that if you don't have the budget yet to go sort of like national, then there you go. You can join those for a slightly more nominal fee, and then liaise with those bloggers that way and promote yourselves, which, funny enough, with one client, they're doing that. It got to the point where it's like, well, I'll focus on journalists, but you've got obviously these influencers and they're getting a lot more action and momentum from that way, which is really interesting to see. And then of course you've got journalists.
Yeah, That's really that's really interesting. You sort of say start small as well, because I think people try to always go quite big, and then they struggle to get to those really big influencers with millions of followers. So like you say, it's about starting small and maybe finding that real niche as well within the groups, because you say there's so many different aspects to it. There might be health, there might be beauty, there might be fashion. So it's trying to find the right group that fits with what you're offering as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I only say start small because we don't all have the budget. So if you think about the impact that you have to go big, it's not just doing a bit of PR, it's PR and advertising, because you have to pay to play. And that's something that I find more so nowadays, is that media will only cover you unless it's truly newsworthy, like groundbreaking newsworthy stuff that you're pitching into, or it's highly topical. You're inundated with so many people and other competitors that are out there, that from a PR point of view, it's a lot of time and money, or that you're spending, and a lot of effort that you're spending to try and get those little bits of coverage. And it's easy to do. I totally believe that you can do your own PR. I don't think you need to hire an expensive PR to do that at all. But what I would say is that, just look at where you want to spend your time and your energy. And ultimately, those journalists will look on your social media feeds anyway. So if you've rushed out to go and speak to a journalist, they're looking for inspiration and seeing, well, where's the truth in your product? Like, how are people engaging with your product? Is it actually viable? So they have to do their research. As much as I'd love to say, yes, they now take our copy and, just publish a press release straight away. Some still do, but others will want to have a look. So you want to make sure, again, you're connecting the dots and you've done your groundwork. It's not even starting from the inside out or starting small. It's really, how do you build it up in the right way? And it's better to do it starting sort of in the immediate sort of circle and then expanding out. But yeah, there are journalists out there, like, again, some great media titles, like, for example, Psychologist, I think it is, has their own social conscious editor. She's looking at brands, looking at sort of eco-conscious brands. They're really looking at sustainability. So these are key issues which are wonderful in the media that, of course, you can go to and pitch. But it would be, again, to try and remove the overwhelm. Maybe do it in steps that you're more comfortable with, rather than trying to think that you have to do everything at once.
Yeah, and I suppose if you posting stuff out and you're using the right kind of hashtags and you're getting a lot of traction and everything like that as well, then obviously they're going to take notice of that. So, I mean, how do you know if what you're doing is effective? If we can just sort of wrap it up quite quickly, just to say sort of, is it when people are starting to contact you that it's being effective, or that you're getting featured? What would you say?
How is it effective? I think that's a very good point, is that when people start to contact you or start to include you, it's always a good sign. I mean, I would say, to me, I think the media is just a channel. It's when your customers are finding you, and of course they're going to Google you and they're going to find you. So it's all this work that you're doing, maybe the blogs, maybe the keyword, the social, how is your SEO driving these things forward, so that if people are looking for those alternatives, are they looking back to you? But you can boost that through blog recommendations and guest blogs and things like that. So I think that's a very good point, in that I think that's a really good way of gauging it, is that you don't have, it gets to the point where you've done all of the work, that people do come to you, and that's my lovely
that's the kind of sweet point, isn't it? Well, this is a huge topic, and I cannot believe, and I did tell you it goes quickly because we're here for a snappy 10 minutes and we've hit 9 minutes.
My best.
But it's such a big topic, and we'll definitely have to get you back on some more topics and maybe pick one and go into a bit more detail. But how can people work with you? I know you said you've got an offer, like a marketing clinic offer.
Correct, yeah. So I do a marketing clinic offer, which it's troubleshooting your marketing approach. So because I don't necessarily think it's always just PR as the free option, like the amount of times I've said, well, let's look at your social, and how are you doing? Let's have a look at that. What leads are you getting out there? What sort of funnels could be placed? What, what could we be doing? I do that. I offer that troubleshooting clinic, so I can send the link to you there. But I'm doing a specially reduced price at the moment, so it's usually $279, but I'm doing it for $200. I just, especially during these times, I think it's more important with businesses really trying to figure out how to spend their budget. Maybe look at it much more strategically and break it down into actionable steps and what's realistic, rather than just coming up with loads of ideas.
Yeah,
and actually,
fantastic. Definitely, and I've worked with you and to get content ideas for mine, so I know it's really, really worthwhile. So I recommend you guys. I will share the link below. And yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us, Kristel, for giving out your wisdom and insight. It's been fantastic. And we will get you back on a later show because there's so much more to say, I know. Anyone who's joining us on the shows, hello. We will jump on after the show and respond to any comments and share some links with you. If you want any further information about what we've been talking about, then please put it below or contact me direct at Hubfizz or Kristel at KBComs. And next week, we will be chatting to Karen Munro, who is a career coach, about the 3 R's, so refocus, research, and reroute for people who want to refocus their career journey, which I think is a really key time at the moment. So details will go up soon under my Facebook page, Events and Live tab. So thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Thanks again, Kristel, for joining us. Goodbye for now, and we'll see you all next week, Tuesday at 11.